Hey, this is Democrat Point, and today is April 26th, 2012. How you doing? Um, this is Keith. I'm a Democrat, and this is Democrat Point. Yes. And topic I want to talk about today is basically about the president and the something that happened April 7th. He went to the Associated Press conference and answered a lot of questions, and he didn't mix any words, didn't get into those subtleties. He just spoke out straightforward. It made clear that people understood what the problem here was. He spoke on Social Security. He spoke about the EPA. He spoke about the healthcare, the mandate in there, the state mandates, the individual mandates. I believe he spoke about the Keystone Pipeline and how the shenanigans of the Republicans, not the conservatives, not the Tea Party, but the Republicans in Congress, in the House of Representatives, is causing all these problems. And note what was said, how it was said. The Republicans. He didn't cut through, he didn't try to signal out anybody. It's the Republicans. Because the fact is, it is the Republicans. They manufacture all these things, and then they want to blame the president for everything. Oh, high gas prices. Well, at the pump. Who controls the gas prices? The companies control the gas prices. The oil companies. They set the oil and the gas prices. And this should be noted. When people try to blame the president for high gas prices, we are paying now, we are in the process of having more or less dependence on foreign oil than we have in the last 15 years. Well under 50% of dependence on foreign oil. Of course, you'll hear somebody like Dick Gregory from the NBC show on Sunday, talk show that he has. Oh, those are the Bush, those Bush. The president is doing what Bush. Yeah, they're trying to associate the president with Bush. But let me tell you something. The president is now doing what you should be doing, each and every last one of you doing. The president's showing that he is a Democrat, and he is defining the difference between Democrats and Republicans. Something that our candidates are not doing, and they're not being pushed to do or supported in doing. You hear these clowns, you hear individuals like Ron Paul, they're the same. They're the same. Everybody from Nader, Ralph Nader, oh, the Republicans and the Democrats. No, we're not. We're not. We're different. We're different. And there is a difference that we have to make known. That we have to define ourselves and stop letting them define us as being the other side of the same coin. No, we're two different coins. We're two different. We're different. And this is what the problem is. And the president noted this, that we're different. He's against this plan. He's against this plan. He's against the budget plan that came from Paul Ryan. He's against all this stuff, these adjustments that they want to make to deal with the deficit. He's against it because it's based on the simple idea or fundamental concept. If something's not working and it was working before, what was done to cause it or to break it? And what caused it to break it or cause the problem with our economy and these deficits are the tax breaks. And he made it clear. Look, Ronald Reagan passed these tax breaks. The President of the United States said this at the Associated Press Conference. Ronald Reagan passed the same tax breaks, but Ronald Reagan understood that you had to make adjustments in order for them to work okay. And he reminded people that these tax breaks that were passed in 2001 were passed under the premise or promoted with the idea that more jobs would be created. And the exact opposite occurred. Now, of course, Republicans don't want to talk about that, the original reason for it. And the problem is that not only do they not want to talk about it, our candidates, our party, our leadership don't want to talk about it either. See, that's where the problem lies. We don't want to remind people that, hey, look, when they passed these tax breaks in 2001, they said that more jobs would be created. And the exact opposite. We lost over 8 million jobs. The only people who are gainfully employed in America now, especially in Florida, are non-American. And I brought this up at a Democratic meeting. And somebody was like, no, how could you say that? How do you know they're not American? Well, you know what? They're not white and they're not black when you go to these construction companies. So I've got to assume that they're guest workers, which means that they may not be all Mexican, but they are not American. Not American in the majority. And that's a problem. It's broken. But anyway, I deviate. Because when I hear people saying we don't have a message, well, you need to stop looking so hard when it's right under your nose. The best place to hide something is under your nose. And it's under your nose. Like I said, just go to YouTube and find the president addressing the Associated Press. And everything that he said in there. It's something that I fully support, everything he said. I could agree with all of that. Because it's common sense. It makes common sense. And our leadership need to follow and join in the effort to put the reality, the truth out there. Stop letting people distract you. Oh, $15 trillion worth of debt. Well, $15 trillion worth of debt. Well, Eisenhower brought the debt under Eisenhower, from FDR to Eisenhower, the debt went from $3.1 trillion to $2.5 trillion. From Eisenhower's second term through Jimmy Carter, the annual average for the national debt being the debt that's owed, that the American people owe from our pockets, was at $2.5 trillion until Ronald Reagan, until after 8 years of Ronald Reagan, in which he added $1.7 trillion to it, bringing it up to $4.2 trillion. After George Herbert Walker Bush left, his 4 years, he had added another $1.6 trillion. You see how this goes? What's that, 6.8 trillion? Or 5.8 trillion? And we're not even talking about the federal deficit. That's two different things. That's part of that $15 trillion that the Republicans started. And we allow them to run on it. And this is something that the president's saying. The Republicans. We need to stop saying we're liberals, we're moderates, we're progressives, we're conservatives. Because when you vote that way, or you choose not to vote that way because you don't get 100%, think about this. You won't get 100%, but you get 80%. And this is basically what the president was saying. There is a big difference how we think. We are in line with 80% of Americans across the board. And we need to make this point known. that there is a difference between Democrats and Republicans. You need to go to YouTube and watch the press conference or the Associated Press conference that the president spoke in for this past April 7, 2012. Because there's a message there. There's a message we need to embrace and echo. Thank you. This is Keith. This is a Democrat Point, and guess what? I'm a Democrat. I'm proud to be a Democrat. Let's say this. I'm a Democrat. I'm proud. Or if you're a Republican, look, Democrats have our interests in hand, not the Republicans who are now serving in Congress and want to take more control. We don't kowtow to the super rich. We try to make it fair across the board. That's a major difference between Democrats and Republicans. So you need to acknowledge that, especially if you're a Democrat. Be proud.